Welcome to the Spiritual and Empowerment Living with Tia podcast, a sacred place and resource for spiritually centered women who want to go from the mundane to the magical life, for overcoming fear and doubt, reconnecting with the goddess, understanding messages from spirit, and uncovering your spiritual gifts so you can finally live the life you deserve. Hello there, Spiritual Trailblazer. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. I have a new headset and mic, so I'm pretty excited for that. Now, today's episode is a little bit different. I wanted to do a mental health check, just a hello, how are you? And I decided to do that because, one, when I was developing content back in December, maybe a little bit before that, I purposely left today's episode blank. So I have content after this. I have content, of course, before this, which you've heard, but I purposely left this day open because I wanted to make sure that whatever I was expressing would be relevant, would be authentic and real, and express what's going on for me and what I'm picking up at the time. So I didn't want to have a bunch of content ready to go. Something happens and it's like, okay, wait a minute. Where does this fall along the schedule for my podcast? So this is open. And I'm so glad I did that. There's a lot I want to talk about. And this is the episode to do that. So before we do a deep dive into this, I want to let you know or remind you, if you are aware, that this blog currently has a Chakra Series. So if you remember, right around the holidays, just before the holidays, we had a magical days of the week where I listed each day of the week, correspondences, planetary correspondences, which you can do on that day, some word origin. I love that. So that was that series. Now we're on the Chakra Series. And as of this episode, we are at the heart chakra. So I actually started from the bottom. I'm about to say a Drake song, started from the bottom. Now I'm here at the heart chakra blog post. So there's the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, and the heart that are already live on the blog. So you can check out the heart post that is live now. And as I look through my notes in Trello, the throat chakra is next, and that will be released on the 29th. Okay, so the 29th is Friday. You just have a few more days to wait for that to go live. And we also are approaching our 300th episode. What? So is this episode 298? Then we have the full moon. So that's the Tia Scope full moon in Leo episode tomorrow, 299. And then the 300th episode is another special one. So stay tuned for that and what I'll be talking about for that episode. Deep breath. All right. So I got all that out the way. Now, I understand a full moon is coming up. Okay. And that causes a lot of feelings, emotions, etc. to pop up. And as a full moon in Leo. I mean, I got a lot of Leo in my chart. Okay. Strong leaders. Sometimes can be stubborn. It's a lot with Leo, but I'm not going to dive into that. You can listen to that Tia Scope when it goes live episode. But what I'm saying here is that there are a lot of energies that also play a part of the way I'm feeling, the way you're feeling, and we need to acknowledge that. So I've been feeling off since early December, and I think that really has to do or had to do with the fact that it was the holiday season and not much could have been done, in this pandemic. In Philly, we have Christmas Village. It's so beautiful. And of course, there wasn't some of the usual stuff there, understandable. But it was just like not even a low blow. It was just like a moment. And I felt that before, which is why I'm just like, oh, when I had my foot surgery. And it was pretty hard because I couldn't do anything. But I had amazing friends who visited me, and I had amazing family who took care of me. But this time it was a little bit harder because you know what's there. I can walk there before I couldn't, but there's nothing there. So on one end, it was like, okay, yeah, no problem. I did this before. Home for the holidays, not really doing anything, have some decorations in the house, cool, fine. But when you can do it and can't, it's a little bit of a heartbreak. And then we, meaning my family and I, received notification that someone who we know and really love dearly passed from COVID. And gosh, she was a really great person. It's hard when bad things happen to good people. So that was the second person we know personally to pass from COVID. And it's just everything else. It compounds and is overwhelming. And I really only like saying compound when we're talking about money, compounding, interest, compounding, whatever. I like hearing compound in that text. So I wanted to do something with you that I do with mainly people who have my phone number, and that's I text them and ask them, "How are you? How are you doing?" And it's so interesting because I do that because I care. Uh, People on the receiving end, it means so much more to them than just to like, "Oh wow, she's checking up on me." It's, "Oh wow, someone cares and they're thinking about me and they took time out their day." It was really appreciative, or it was appreciated by people when they expressed that to me. It was really on a deeper level for them. So you never quite know what people are going through. And a simple "how are you" is a game changer. So I'm asking, how are you? And even if I can't hear you, well, I can't because I'm recording this, but even if you don't email me, some people send me emails. Even if you don't email me or send me a message on Instagram, just know that I do care. I do care. I'm the person who gets so happy when their friends succeed. I'm the person who's, crying, when you see your friends, just so happy, like joyful tears. And I do care. I want people to do well, be well, and really just take good care of themselves. So I want you to know that first and foremost. And I'm being, authentic, honest, vulnerable, whatever you want to call it, but I'm just really caring. And I wanted to take a whole podcast episode to express that and to tell you also how I'm feeling because, and I'm starting to see this change happen too on social media where a lot of uh, quote unquote influencers are showing their messy side. And I have to tell you, I unfollowed a lot of influencers, and not knocking them. There are some really great people on social media, great content, great everything. Uh, but something I have learned over my nearly 11 years of doing this is that a lot of people they have a website online. They have a social media life, and it's completely different or mostly different than their actual life. And this is different than understanding a portion of someone's life, right? We see a portion of people's lives on social media, on TV. But with some influencers, they make it seem as if it's their life. And the more, and I don't do this anymore. Like I said, I don't follow a lot of people. But when I was doing a lot of collabs and things like that, I learned that a lot of it is not what you think it is. Um, to put it simple, they put on the front, and that's okay. Uh, within certain perimeters. What happens is the issue arises when people start connecting a lot, gain a lot of followers, whatever you want to call it, and they making it seem as if that's it. And I believe there's a certain level of responsibility that needs to be understood when you are taking platforms like this, when you are placing yourself as some type of subject matter expert, some form of guidance, some form of whatever. Okay, because I know some people say, "Well, I'm not a role model. I'm not this. I'm not that. I just me. I am just me," and I understand that, and I agree. But here's the thing: people, myself included, we are positioning ourselves as some type of credible, some type of uh, resource, right? And we need to be able to say, hey, look, yeah, this is great. I'm doing well, but also I have days where it's just like meh. And I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to watch Netflix. I want to order pizza. I don't want to do anything. Okay. And that's what I want to relay here really well is that yes, you can show up and look clean and pristine and do well, and you can still have emotions under the surface, and that's fine because one, you have to show up to places, right? You have to put on a smile. And I'm not saying put on a smile for some random person. I mean, like for work. I mean, like you have to show up, like you have to be presentable. You have to show up. I mean, for yourself, for your kids, for whomever. So I wanted to give you some tips that has helped me these last few months because if you remember over the summer, it got really overwhelming for me with everything that was going on the summer 2020, and I ended up not doing the podcast for 2 months. Sometimes I had batch material, sometimes I don't, and it wasn't really planned. So that's just really my, in some ways, long-winded way of telling you that it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to look quote unquote bummy, okay, just to prove that you have something going on. It's like when people are in pain or sick, but it's not a visible sickness, the invisible issues, and sometimes it gets dismissed. So I want to say I hear you, and I got some tips for you. You can tweak them, you can use them, or you can use one of them. It's just a guide. It's what worked for me. It's what have worked for other people who I recommended this to. And so I'm taking it here to you guys. One includes the daily things I've been doing. So each and every day, I make sure I do something that is Tia, something that when my friends see it, it's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's definitely something Tia would do. So, for example, I make my coffee. You may have seen this on my Instagram. I put some cinnamon in there. I stir it around. I say a little spell sometimes. Turn it 3 times. I have my daily things. I have my oils, my sprays. I got from my fellow witch entrepreneurs. So I have some things I do every day that keep me at my home base per se. Because if I don't have something to go home to, if I don't have a square one, it can get really chaotic, right? That's when things go left. So I made sure to have that. So ask yourself, what are some of the things you can do? Easy things that you can do every day to keep your mentality in check. Something that is almost like second nature to you. It's natural, it's effortless, and you can do it. Some of the other things I like to do every day is to drink a nice cold bottle of water in the morning. It shocks the system in a way, but also it's very refreshing. It's just like oh yeah, today will be a good day. I understand it's crazy times right now, but it's going to be okay. That's what we just really need to remember. It doesn't have to be great right now. It just needs to be okay. And for so long, I would think that things had to be great. It had to be perfect. I got over the perfect a long time ago. But I would think things had to be great. They had to be on track. They had to be doing this and that. Whew, slow down. Especially when you're not feeling well, you're feeling off. Things could be okay. It's not a long term thing. It's just for right now. I just need things to be okay. Okay. And of course, you can have your nighttime ritual in the afternoon. Sometimes I take an afternoon shower. Showers are so powerful. And I know that I talk a lot about magic and spirituality and, everything under that umbrella. But also remember, I've also said that it's this part, the practical stuff, that really makes our magic strong. Because remember, we are the magic, it's our energy, it's our emotions, it's our thoughts, our feelings, all of that. And we really cannot be great manifestors, uh, strong in our boundaries, cast spells, and is potent unless we take care of ourselves. It's just not going to work. That includes building confidence. That includes, like I said, establishing boundaries, speaking up for yourself, taking care of your mental health, getting regular checkup at the doctor, making sure your body is good. All that is something we should be doing anyway. But especially as spiritual folk, because we just feel deeper. I'm speaking in particular to my empaths and clear sentience. This is even more important because it's so easy for us to push this to the side or not give it its full attention. Next is it's okay if you do the bare minimum. And I really have to give a shout out to, oh my gosh, I can't think of her name right now because someone got her name wrong and now she has it as tempura apples. Oh my gosh, and my phone's downstairs. Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to press pause real quick on this recording to see if I can pull her up real quick. She wrote the she's Wild Woman Witchcraft on Instagram. One moment, guys. Hang on. Okay, I had to press pause. Okay, so Temperance Alden. It's so fun. Like I said, someone said, "Hey, I got this book. I think it's like from Tempura Apple or something like that." So it's like a gag now. But Temperance Alden, she wrote the book Year of the Witch: Connecting with Nature, Seasons Through Intuitive Magic. Okay, so on her Instagram page, she wrote that it was okay to do the minimum. Okay, she wrote that basically it's okay. And that's something I want to also reel in here. Okay, so I went and pulled it up. So her Instagram is fairly recent. So it states, just your daily reminder, there is nothing wrong with doing the bare minimum at your job as long as you're doing it well. Doing only what's required of you isn't lazy, especially if you don't get compensated for doing extra. And listen, I understand, she's saying like, look, if you're not doing anything extra, excuse me, if you're not getting paid extra, don't do it. But also what I'm saying here is that when you're going through something like now, we have a pandemic. Many people lost their jobs or their hours got cut back, or they know someone who passed from COVID, or, their life got uprooted some way, shape, or form, right? There's a lot going on. And many people are seeing a slice of your life's pie, not the whole pie. So they may be thinking, okay, well, XYZ, let's do this, let's do that. Can you, whatever. It's like, you know what? I cannot right now. Okay. And this is even if there wasn't a pandemic, you can be going through anything mentally. Okay. So I just thought that was nice to see. And you know how spirit works. You're going through something, you're thinking about something, you're going down a rabbit hole, and what happens? You get a message. And that's what tends to happen with me when I think about something or going through something. I literally receive messages on Instagram. And I've documented this in the past and talked about it in previous episodes. So look, the bare minimum, whether it's work or you got up today, you washed your face, you brushed your teeth, you showered a little, like a quick shower, and you went downstairs, right? You got on some house clothes. Maybe you're eating cereal out the box. Maybe you're eating yesterday's cold pizza. I don't know, right? But let's just say that's not normally you. But that's what you were able to do that day. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself praise for even small wins. Okay? Small wins give us confidence for even attracting the bigger wins. It helps us understand that it's okay to be happy about a small win. Too many times we see big, and I'm not knocking big wins. Just like earlier, I wasn't knocking social influencers, is what I've noticed over the years. So yeah, big win. Oh, you cleaned your house. Okay. Your whole house is spotless. That's a big win. Great. Yes. Small win. You washed your face. Big win. You got a bid. That's a big win to me. So, big and small, start giving yourself a pat on the back. And next is to not to beat yourself up. Again, full moon's approaching, emotions are heightened. This is almost a setup. This is why I created a post on the blog that lists all the full and new moon dates and the zodiac signs that they are in. Because once you know when these full new moons are coming, you'll be better equipped to handle your emotions. For years, I would feel off or weird, or I would have heightened energies, like I need to do something. Couldn't really explain it, and I didn't really think to talk much about it. And years later, I'm discovering, oh, it's the impact of the moon. And it's bringing up some thoughts and feelings. And oh, look at that shadow work. So don't beat yourself up. And I know it sounds pretty simple and mundane, like, yeah, Tia, sure, don't beat myself up. But really think about this. How often have we beat ourselves up because we thought we should have done more, that we deserve more, or whatever the case is? Okay. Don't go down that rabbit hole right now. There's too much going on in the world to also beat yourself up. Give yourself credit for doing what you have done thus far. We are approaching 1 year since it was declared a pandemic. Almost a year. I feel like it was just March, like 2 months ago, right? And here it is. We are approaching a year of craziness. All right. So don't beat yourself up. Okay. Give yourself praise for making it this far, even if you feel like meh. All right. And look, even if you don't feel meh and you're like, Tia, I haven't been having too many issues, then share this episode with someone. Okay. And remember, when you do go through that, because life's peaks and valleys, come back to this episode. All right. Do subscribe to stuff that makes you feel better. Now, this is also a little bit turn of events over the years. And I was saying this a few years back, is that you can follow people on, let's say, Instagram, and look at whatever they're posting in the morning. Some people say, don't Don't look at social media first thing and stuff like that. It depends on what you're looking at. Perspective, right? I get what they're saying, and I'm going to do an episode where I talk about um things like that, where people really don't give the full perspective at times. Some people do, but some people just make a blanket statement. It's just like, well, you can look at Instagram in the morning, but what do you want to see first thing in the morning? Do you want to see motivational quotes? Do you want to see funny videos to help get your mood uplifted in that way, the funny route? Do you want to listen to a quick audio or something? I don't know. It depends, whatever it is, right? So think about that. Who are the people, or their content at least, that you would like to see first thing in the morning? Okay. And you can save them on Instagram. And if you don't have an Instagram, you can create one. You can make it private. No one has to know. It's like that audio. No one who's gonna know. No one's gonna know. Who's gonna know? So it's like that. You can have a private Instagram, okay, and just save a bunch of stuff there, and then you can just go there whenever you want to do a quick, less than a minute mental boost. All it takes sometimes is just one motivational quote. I can't even begin to tell you how many times a simple two-line quote helped me. Okay, so if it helped me, I know it can help you. So think about it. Subscribe to all the stuff that makes you feel better. I have so many dog videos saved. It's ridiculous. But you know what? It makes me happy. It helps me to disconnect for a little while and reconnect. Not trying to say I'm trying to escape, life as a whole. I just need a timeout. That's all I need. And I know several of us need a timeout. And that's what that's about. So your daily routine, which I was saying earlier, this can be your morning and nighttime routine. It's easy. We are all on our phones anyway. All right. You're probably listening to this podcast on your phone. It's super easy to hop over to Instagram and look at the people who you want to look at. And then you have the algorithms working in your favor because they're going to show you more of that. So your mornings and evenings are going to get even better. All right. Convos, conversations. I have regular conversations with myself anyway. Uh, this time around, I got a little bit deeper because I caught myself. I was going down that rabbit hole I was telling you about earlier. And you might have heard me say this on the podcast before. I had these mirrors in my bathroom. They're cabinet mirrors, and I just open it up, and the mirrors are now like three. So each side of the mirror opens, and there's a mirror in the middle. I call it the trifecta of Tia, and I have a conversation. So basically, what I do is I remind myself of who I am. And I also talk myself out of that rabbit hole thinking. I'll give you an example. So I'm working on something in my business, and I am tweaking a few things with that. Now, part of me is feeling like, oh, you know what? Maybe it should be something different. I'm not that I'm second guessing. I'm thinking about what I should tweak if I need to tweak that. And I was going down the rabbit hole about how it's going to be received and all these other things. And I thought, you know what, Tia, stop. You're overthinking this. Okay. You put out good content. It helps so many people. Just focus on what you can do, being in your lane. And of course, just ask for advice, but don't go down this rabbit hole of, oh, maybe I'll tweak it this way, I'll tweak it that way, I'll do this, I'll do that. And it's too much. It's too much. And that was just part of what I was thinking. Okay. So just have these have conversations with yourself. Really think about uh, how you want to talk to yourself in the process. So I don't do things like, "Oh, you're so stupid. Why would you do that? It's dumb." Like I don't do that to myself. What happens is I think about something that's on my, or I talk about what's on my mind often. And then I would just kind of walk myself through it. And if I'm going down a rabbit hole, I would catch myself. It's like kind of shake my head like, wait a minute, no, you're doing too much, and bring myself back. The reason why I like doing this in the mirror is because I'm looking into my eyes and I'm making this commitment to myself that I'm going to get through this. I'm going to solve this problem. Okay. I'm going to recruit people to help me. Okay. It's that one on one time that sometimes people become a little bit nervous to have, because when you are having a conversation with yourself, especially when you're talking out loud, some things are going to come up, right? Like your true thoughts and feelings. It's like an exercise I did back in college, and I forget who came up with this method, but it's the 5 question method. And basically, you ask yourself or a person the same question 5 times, and you get to the root of the problem. Really, like, but why did you do that? Okay, and why that? But why? But why? And it's like, because I was scared. Oh, now we got it. Got it. Now, why were you scared? What did you think was going to happen? Oh, well, I thought that, people were going to make fun of me because I didn't do this and it looked that way. And that's already made up, right? So have these conversations with yourself. Talking out loud always help me. So if you can find someone, so I know I said have conversations with yourself, but if you can also find someone to talk to, that helps. Talking out loud really helps you to hear what you're saying. So if you're really saying some stuff about yourself, you're like, wait a minute, I'm really being nasty towards myself. You're going to hear that. You don't want to feel that again. Talking out loud also helps you to process what you want to do. So if you're thinking about it, but you're not saying it out loud, you're just going to be like, la, 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 right? Because it's so easy to do. But when you're talking, you have to move your mouth. There's like other things being moved. And he's like, wait a minute. Wow. Like, my mouth's dry. I need to really think about this. You start to think about it a little bit more. You just process it differently. So please make sure that you have a conversation with yourself where you make certain commitments to yourself, where you remind yourself of who you are, where you give yourself a pat on the back, where you just have a deep, long look in your eyes. When's the last time you looked in your eyes? Like, just look. Don't think about anything. Just look. And next is to make sure, this is a big one, that you are being true to yourself. Here's what I mean by that. When we are feeling under weather, meh, however you want to phrase it, and we need to do a mental health check, okay? We have to be real with ourselves about the issues, okay? For example, if your husband's cheating on you and it's causing you mental strain, you don't know where he's at because he said he's going to work. You're like, I don't know. You discovered you saw a questionable text message from a woman. Okay. And now you're questioning your husband's whereabouts, the money, what is he spending it on? You ask him questions, he's evasive, and it's driving you bonkers. You can't get an answer. Right. Now, when you go to interact with other people, and I'm not saying everyone has to know your business. This is just an example. You might be a little bit bitchy towards other people. You might be a little bit of a cynic. There might be a lot of emotions that you're projecting on situations that have nothing to do with your marriage. Okay. So when you are feeling this way, you're like, oh, I got a bid and stuff like that. Make sure that you are real with yourself about the issue at hand. So if the issue at hand is my husband's cheating, I saw this message and it was really racy. I'm just like, whoa, what are you doing here? I confronted him and we just get in arguments, nothing's being resolved, you won't go to therapy, whatever the case may be, right? You got to be real with yourself. You got to tell yourself, I'm feeling this way because I don't think my husband's being loyal and I need to figure it out. I'm feeling this way because I feel like we're never going to get through this. I know we will one day, but it's so overwhelming. I'm feeling this way because I just can't perform at 100%. I feel like I could, but I can't bring myself to do that. You got to be truthful with yourself first and foremost. And then maybe you can tell someone the whole story, right? Hey, I'm feeling this way because what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what's going on. And, it's a lot. Okay. Make sure you understand why you're feeling that way. Or if you can't really pinpoint it, like, me years ago, before I found out about the moon and stuff like that, start doing some research. Okay. Start doing some research, talk to a therapist, something, right? There are many ways we can tackle feeling meh. And you know what? I don't even have a better word for it because it really is like meh for me. For you, it may be, uh, no, I really am feeling under the weather or maybe even depressed. So just really take some time for that to really be honest with yourself. You can write about it in a journal. I'm not a big journal person. I think they're awesome. Uh, I used to journal. I can't keep up with it. I just journal when I feel like it. Um, so maybe for you, writing it out, how you feel dated. Okay. Like this is state what's going on right now and how you feel and a step or two you're going to do to help you get a little bit out of that funk. Okay. Because this too will pass. It's crazy right now. Everyone's trying to figure it all out. We're just figuring it all out as we're going along. So that's what I have for you. I hope those tips were helpful for you. They have been helpful for me and other people. I know a lot of this is pretty much what you have to apply more so as to read or just listen per se. For example, with your daily things, having your self convo. I'm giving you calls to action to do, and that's what I do when I work with people and just on a regular, right? I'm constantly giving calls to action. Okay, so this isn't just a theory or something that I heard hearsay. These are action items that you can apply to your life right now, and they work. Okay. So feel free to tweak these as you see fit. Maybe you're someone with a big family and you can talk to your whole family. Okay. Maybe you're someone who doesn't have a family and you go to Facebook groups and that's your thing. Perfectly fine. You want to have a conversation on Facebook group or you made a pen pal via Facebook. That's okay too. I just want you to know to remind you, okay, that it's okay if you're not really feeling up to par. It's okay if you did the bare minimum that is asked of you. It is okay if you have a bunch of small accomplishments throughout the week. It is okay if you don't feel like talking to people. It's okay if you don't feel like doing anything that makes you feel like you are being pushed. Okay? These are I don't want to say guidelines because they're not guidelines, but these are in a way some guidelines, but they're more so me saying, look, this is what worked for me and others, and I hope this works for you too. Okay, that's what this is. All right. I'm sending you so many blessings. Be kind to yourself. And as always, I'm rooting for you. Until next time. As always, Spiritual Trailblazer, thank you for tuning in. Do make sure to stop by and visit me at tiamariejohnson.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Last but not least, be kind to yourself. I'm rooting for you, and I'm sending you so many blessings. Until next time.